Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We're going to continue the last two episodes of the year, which is about the last two strategies in the 36 stratagem. So yesterday we talked something that's commonly used. I'm not sure how common actually. It probably is not as common as 声东击西. But this is another kind of illustration of attacking the weak point of your enemy instead of going, combat to their strongest force. So 围魏救赵 is talking about the strategy applied exactly that instead of going to the Zhao, where the enemy already placed their majority forces because Zhao is attacking. Wei is attacking Zhao. So instead of going to Zhao to have a direct combat with Wei, you go to Wei, where they don't have a lot of resources left to defend their own town. So you go to the weak point of your enemy. And that way you force the Wei to retreat from Zhao and achieve this goal of rescue Zhao from the besiege of Wei. Okay. Today, 连环计. 连环计 is a little bit abstract because it didn't exactly tell you what kind of tactics you're going to use. But instead, we use 连环, linked ring. So it's like multiple step tactic. That's something that strategists probably are good at. Is they come up with multiple steps. They almost kind of can predict what your enemy is going to do. And they're so confident that they devise one action. They kind of pre-program what their action is going to be. They know you're probably going to fall into the trap. So there are multiple steps attacks on you. Okay, I will give an example after explaining the characters. So here we have 连 came from the left side, which is walking symbol. The right side is the vehicle symbol. The left side come from the foot symbol. We have this cactus looking 3 pointy toes. I mean, I don't know why toes are pointing like that. And then we have this arch of thing. So this is abstraction of the foot. It's totally misproportioned, misplaced anatomy of foot, but that's our Chinese foot representation. And then we have 3 strokes, repeating strokes like that. That's our footsteps. So you can see it's equally spaced. It's repetitive. 3 is enough to mean basic any X number, right? And then originally it has the left and right side because we have to walk, shifting our weight and walk always left and right, but the right side discarded. The left side is enough to show the tracks of human footprint. So we have foot plus footprint. The whole thing means walking. You left your marks on there. You have evidence of walking, right? And then the right side is our car, our vehicle, our carriage symbol come from this. Now this figure is a little bit rounded. It looks visually more like a wheel, right? In other cases, it's kind of squished. It depends on where the symbol is placed. So I have to kind of squish this way or squish this way. Depends on how it's linked with other characters to form with a bigger character. Okay, so in this case, it's proportionally okay, right? So this is spokes. We just use horizontal, vertical enough to show spokes. So that means you have to touch the end. There shouldn't be any gaps in there. So this is our visual wheel. And then the wheel is attached to sort of like a beam or structure that's connected to, I forgot the name of that, probably axis, right? To the vehicle main body, right? And then the wheel have to be kept in place by having the 2 stoppers at the end, right? So it doesn't fall off the axis. So that's our representation of a vehicle. Lots of times it's just one wheel is enough. It's one wheel holding up the load and then a horse in the front pull this wheel. One wheel in the sense it's actually two wheels. It gotta be two wheels on each side, right? And then the horse pulling. So instead of two rows of two wheels, this is just two wheels. So this means the cart or the vehicle back then that is on foot. So how come you have a wheel and are you walking or driving, right? Okay. We don't, we cannot really relate to contemporary life, project that to the ancient living. So before the automatic, not even automatic driving, like automatic powered going car, it is car either pulled by any animals or humans. Like when you don't have an animal, but you have sort of like a servant or somebody you pay to pull the cart so that you don't have to walk. You stay on the cart, but somebody else is do the walking for you. So that's our man-powered vehicle. Okay, how that's transferred, like extended the meaning into linked, I have no clue. It could be that this pulling of the cart, to pull the cart, the labor or whoever is do the walking, got to link itself, its body somehow to the cart to attach it. So sometimes, I mean, in recent, like 100 years ago, we can still see man-pulled cart, right, with two hands holding onto the structure that's before the cart. That's for the hand holding one. Maybe in ancient times, there are other ways to attach the person to the cart. So when the person is walking or running even, the cart can go with it. So maybe that's the linking thing come from. So this, today, we don't think about man-pulled cart anymore. It's the linking concept that live with us. So this is the link. Okay, when we have this left side, that's our jade symbol. And it's a kind of an airy look, top-down view of each of these are jade discs. And in ancient times, jade are the most prized because that's before diamond or a sapphire, whatever contemporary commercial desirable precious stone definition is defined by somebody. So before that definition, jade is the defined desirable precious metal for Chinese society. Okay, so you can imagine jade were used as a kind of a gift giving, bribery, I'm sure back then, or trade, like transactional, right? So these are 3 jade discs put on a string connected together. So when we have 3, just like footstep 3, it doesn't mean the definitive number 3. It means a lot, undefined quantities, usually a lot. So these just means stringed together jade discs. Okay, right side is a little bit complicated. Okay, we have this folding of the neckline. This is kind of a wrapping dress that fold like that. That's an ancient Chinese way of clothing wear. So, okay, throughout the history, different cultures have their own ways of clothing, right? How to keep that cloth on your body is a big question. So Chinese, they have this big flat garment, right? And they cut out the sleeves and then kind of fold the neckline here. And then they use kind of no button, no zipper back then, right? So instead use a kind of a knotted through the loop to connect and sideways connect like that. That's the Chinese closure of the clothing. That's the kind of a neckline looking. And then we have the cone-shaped hat. Till today, you can still see it. A lot of times, Vietnamese, when farmers working in the field to shield them from the sunburn, instead of a sunscreen, this is a very effective way to block out the sun. Basically have a moving portable umbrella holding up by your head. So it's a hand-free shade that move with you. I mean, it's amazing, right? So this is the head. So the head, the whole like fully equipped person putting the gown with the hat, right? And then have this almost like a grass sign symbol on top of the hat. So there are two possibilities. One is the person is going like a fully equipped, right? Long gown and I mean, we don't exactly know if it's long gown or not, but it's like dressed like that. Probably it's kind of formal dress, and with the hat, it's like a fully dressed, right? With accessories, the hat and the clothing, apparel. A fully outfitted guy going outward to the mountain. So this, you can view it as mountain, so something far away. So this is a far trekking person image. Or you can regard it as a grass symbol or plant symbol, something put on top of the cone-shaped hat. I don't know, to cool it, to further shade it. I don't know. Could be some ancient device or something, but this as one unit of character often seen together. So to me, that reads like somebody who's going to walking far away. Probably is a messenger, like, I don't know, postman back then probably looked like that, or somebody who has to go far away. And then we have the eyeball here. So oval shape with two lines cutting through. That here is just the ball part. Instead of like a filling it out with black, which is easy to do, we save the ink, just use that line to outline. That's the eyeball. And the rest of it is the white part of the eye. So that eye symbol connected with this person walking far away. According to some scholars, which I don't exactly buy, that this means somebody who looks stunned, looks surprised. And I mean, how do you explain it to somebody who is fully outfitted to walk, equipped to walk far distance? Why that with an eye symbol, it's surprised. I mean, one possibility is at the time, people don't really have much mobility, right? You basically live and die in the same location, the same village or town. So when you see some far away traveler coming to town, probably speak a different dialect, probably look a little bit different as well. You probably will be in shock. That's one possibility to explain. But for me, it's almost like looking at a visitor, outsider. So that's the kind of look. This is the sound maker. And the total together means rain. I don't know. I have to come up with some theory why this string together jade disc plus this surprised look at a visitor combined together to mean rain. One thing, I'm guessing it could be a faraway traveler is a trader that bring in the jade, and people examine the jade and looking at, because these are discs and string together jade, right? So in between the disc, in the middle, there is a hole, and through that hole, this thread is going to be stringing together this whole disc stacking up string, right? So maybe it's somebody trading jade, and somebody have to look at the holes through the thread. I don't know, but the whole thing is the rain. The rain in ancient times just means concentric structure. So bigger circle with a smaller circle, and they are concentric. And this is the ring structure. That's the concept of ring. So imagine, a ring it's on the finger, or the ring is on a bracelet. It's the similar structure. It's some continuous circular thing with a center, like a smaller side and a bigger side, and they're in the shape of a circle, basically. So that's our ring. I mean, I would just picture it as some jade trader walking far away, and people examine the jade, and that's the ring. That's a common practice to see the jade ring. So instead we call them jade discs, right? Which they are. They can also be regarded as a ring, even if they probably are not. I mean, it's possible. Jade made into ring shape, and that's jade ring. That's being traded. Okay, tactic, we have that many times before. The left side is speaking, the right side is number 10. The speaking sign comes from the mouth symbol, and then we have the tip of the tongue, and then we have the pointer toward the mouth. So because the tongue you cannot really visibly see on the outside, right? So we have to use a pointer to know, to show this is within the mouth, and this is the thing you're looking at. And we have 2 sound bites coming out of the tongue mouth structure. So this is a whole sound making device. And if it comes from humans, I mean, most likely we're talking, we're not making gibberish, right? Even if maybe that's the majority of the case. But this is speaking. And then we have the rope, the knotting of the rope, and the knot. So instead of the knot, like a dot, it's hard to see or distinguish. We use horizontal line, kind of short but sharp enough to notify, okay, this is number 10. So number 10 is the biggest single digit. Wait, no, number 10 is double digit, but probably in ancient times, we don't really think about digit like that. I don't know. I don't exactly know the history of the math proficiency of Chinese, like how they view integers, numbers like that back then. But number 10, supposedly from 1 to 10 is the biggest number up there. So that represent quantity, quantified. So this quantification of things with speaking, that's the kind of, calculating, and then influencing, right? So you quantify things, try to understand, calculate, make your little math inside you, and then you kind of try to convince people to buy into your theory or something like that. So that's the tactic. And we have linked ring tactic, which I translate as dominoes. So because one disc, one domino, okay, fall will impact the next one, the whole thing. So it's a stack of things. One happened dependent on the previous stack. So it's sequentially falling down process, right? So that just shows the impact of one leads to another, and it's a continuation. So 连环计 is about you thinking about one step, but you place your tactics or your tricks one after another, and you kind of predict what your enemy is going to do. And it's going to probably you have hedge moves as well. Like if it goes to A, you will have a way of playing it out. If it goes to B, you have another way to play it out. But in any case, it's a pre-planned sequence of steps so that you can eventually defeat your enemy. The story goes, as an example of this Dominoes 连环计 tactic is, okay, there are 3 kingdoms. Let's call it ABC. So A tries to set up to win the war, right? So they try to mess up with B and C to let B and C become enemies. So probably that's the reasoning, the thinking process, right? So A, again, use women, select the best looking girl in the A's country, promise to marry this girl to the king of B, and then also promise to marry this girl to the king of C. And somehow, I don't know how this A are going to make sense to B and C, but somehow B and C regard they are kind of competing for the same woman. So they had a war first. B and C became enemies first. And that would cause both sides got weakened. Let's say just halved, right? So before each one is 100%. And then now it's 50 and 50 because they had a war first before they can recover, become 100 again. A, which is still 100, using just one girl to trick this B and C into war. Then this A, when it's still 100, can attack this 50% B or 50% C, take both of them down. So that's dominoes. So this is kind of multiple step trick. So marry the girl to B, marry the girl to C, and then B and C predicted as going to have war first, and then A take down B, A take down C, or reverse. So that's the, okay, 连环计. I feel evil even talking about this, but I guess in wartime, whatever device you could come out with, and probably sacrificing a girl is the easier way to save resources and lives of your army. I don't know. No moral judgment. It's just strategy that we're talking about. Okay, so that's 连环计. Cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.